Hey guys, welcome back. Fast Monty's Garage. Today is troubleshooting with Mike day. That's because I have a water temperature issue. And those of you that have experienced it may want to know, how do you diagnose it? And that's what we're going to go through today. I have a temperature sending unit that might be bad. I don't know. I actually have two temperature sending units. One operates the gauge and the dashboard, and the other one operates my electric fans. I don't know which one's bad. I have a feeling I do know, but we don't know yet. We need to diagnose it. Let me tell you a story. So I was actually getting gas in the GTO because I was going on a 200-mile cruise the next day. After I got gas on the way home, I looked down and my temperature gauge was pegged. It was actually creeping down because I was moving, but I was still freaking out because it was way hotter than it's supposed to be running. So I didn't know if it was the gauge. I don't know if it's the sending unit. And then it dawned on me, I don't think I heard the fans. I have electric fans. I can typically hear them when they kick on. So I got home. I decided to cancel. I couldn't go to the cruise. It was actually one of the quarantine cruises. If you guys in Southern California know what I'm talking about, a lot of cars go to that. I was bummed. Couldn't go. So today we're going to diagnose what the heck is going on. So let's jump over to the car and I'll show you what tools I'm going to use and what tools you could use to help go through the process. Right, so here's the tools we're going to use today. So a generic circuit tester. You have to be careful because sometimes those break and they don't really work right. My favorite's a voltmeter and some test leads. This is called a test lead. They look like jumper cables, right? They're really small jumper cables. So we're going to actually on purpose short out the temperature sending units to see how they behave, and this works really well to do that. You can even get them in longer lengths, like this guy here. It's retractable. It's 10 feet, 3 different leads on it. It really helps with diagnosing different problems. So that's what I'm going to use today. So let's get to it. I'm going to show you how I use this on the temperature sending unit. All right, so here's my temperature sending unit for the gauge. Got one wire coming off it, and this one you can see over here is another temperature sending unit for my electric fans. They both operate in the same way, and same with your car. It doesn't matter what car you have. As the heat increases, the resistance decreases within this switch, and the gauge monitors that decrease in resistance, and that relates to a temperature. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a trick. We're going to ground this out with our jumper cables that I showed you to our ground strap right here. Your ground strap could be a different spot. You can pick a solid ground on your car. And we're going to go look at the gauge or watch the gauge as I hit this with the ground strap. The gauge, if it's working correctly, will peg full hot. So let's give that a shot. So there's my jumper I attached to my ground strap, and then I'm going to attach this to this connector here, just like that. So I'm going to go place the camera and do the same thing, and we should see the gauge move. I actually heard it click standing here, but I'm going to do this again, but watching it with the camera. All right guys, so here's the temperature gauge over here on the left. So obviously the car's cold. The key's in the ignition. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. It's on. Oh, I accidentally did the blinkers. Blinkers work. I'm going to go jump to the front of the car and use our jumper, and that temperature should peg out. Okay, here we go. I can actually hear it pegging out. Off, on. So I'll review the tape because I couldn't see it myself, but I'm pretty sure I heard it turn on. Be right back. Alright guys, let's do the same test to the fan control switch and see what happens. So we're going to ground it out. Oh! Can you guys hear that clicking? Those are the relays. So the relays are working. That switch is working. That means there's something else going on. So let's go check the fuse for the fans. Hey guys, so there's the fuse, but I don't know if you notice right away, that is toasty right there. That is burnt. compared to, see, I can see copper wire on this terminal. That's all oxidized and brown and disgusting. So I think next step, I'm going to see if this fuse is still good. I can't see through that window, so I'm going to show you my jumper trick to see if I can get current through there, and then go from there. All right, guys, here's another great thing I like to use those jumpers for. So I'm just going across the fuse connectors because I can't see the fuse. I can't see in there, so I'm just going to test for see if I can get some current through it. And what you do is you use an ohm meter on your multimeter. So I'm just going to connect the multimeter to the other side, and we're completing a circuit. It's like that. If we look at our multimeter, we have ohms. That means we have a connection. That means that fuse is good. If it wasn't good, let's say we take one off, like that, that's the reading you get. So we have a problem. There's no power coming through here for some reason. As I pointed out before, that really feels loose. Like I can see the wire and the fitting move. So I'm going to go ahead and take this terminal off, inspect it, cut it off anyway because it's burnt, and we'll go from there. Guys, here's an up close. See how toasty that is? It's also loose, so I'm going to just cut it off, put a new one on, see where that gets us. You guys, so I took the connector off and I stripped it down further. I don't know if you can see how gray and oxidized that is. It looks like accelerated oxidation from heat. So it should look nice and pretty like that, especially since I already cut a bunch of wire off. So I'm going to cut this end off, strip it back some more, see what we get. Okay, so I cut it off, stripped it again. That's much better. I'm going to hit it with a product called Deoxit. This is Deoxit. You can actually spray it on oxidized terminals and wires and stuff, and it'll clean it up. Like if you pull a bad AA battery out of something, you can actually spray this on and it takes a lot of that gunk off. So I'm just going to hit these wires. And I'm going to show you another product I like to use. So this is a grease. It's the opposite of dielectric grease. So many people don't know this, but dielectric grease is not conductive of electricity. It's used to prevent arcing. So that's why you put on spark plug boots. This actually helps conductivity and corrosion. So I'm going to dip it in here. Get a nice little coating going, and then I'll put my connector on. I'll try and find a link for this. I've had this for years, but I'll try and put a link in the description if I can find it for sale somewhere. So test the sending unit again and see if the relays operate the fan. Maybe that was the issue. Okay, same jumper from before. It's still grounded on the ground strap. And let's see if the fans kick on. Yes, we got it. It was that actual connector. Oh, thank God. That's so awesome. But, well, I guess I'm glad it happened before the drive and not during the drive. Where's my easy button? Man, it was just that terminal that was corroding, not allowing enough juice to pass through it to get the fans to run. Those fans are like 50 amp fans. Crazy. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that issue happened before the cruise, not during the cruise. That would have royally sucked. Oh man, part of the hobby though. You got to deal with it. Deal with the blows as they come. And I hope you guys learned something today. You see how easy it is to check your sending unit. If you ground it out, it will do something if it's working properly. If it doesn't do anything, like the gauge doesn't work, you have to go to the next step of troubleshooting. But luckily we figured it out, and it was just that terminal. So subscribe if you haven't. We're going to have many more episodes on keeping this guy on the road, as well as car shows, other upgrades, and you guys know the drill. Build them fast, but drive them faster. See ya.